make sure your website is worth visiting. We sort of already dealt with this topic a little bit here earlier, but here's a couple points to think about with that. Number one, is it mobile friendly? Because if it isn't, you're probably shooting yourself in the foot. The numbers are saying on average today, and your Google Analytics will tell you exactly what it is for you, but they're saying on average you could be anywhere between 50 and 70% mobile traffic. I had a client in Avon here this year, and their mobile traffic was about 90%. So if we were to ignore the mobile experience, we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot with all of that. So that's one thing I think of making sure it's worth it. Second thing is, does it load fast? If it doesn't load fast enough, people aren't going to hang around. And so you need to make sure it loads fast. You need to have very clear and distinct call to action buttons. I believe this is like key today. And as I'm watching the recordings of people going into websites that I'm building and helping people with, I'm able to see whether or not they're confused. And the clicks tell us the answer. The clicks tell us exactly what's going on, or whether or not it's very clear. And one way to make it clear is just have one call to action above the fold. When they first hit the website, just have one thing that they can do. Does that freak any of you out? Yeah, it freaks people out. Trust me. They're like, yeah, but I've got to tell them about me. So I've got to have an about button up there. Oh, and I've got to make sure they know all my services. Oh, and then before long, we've got like 29 items on the menu sort of thing. I believe one call to action above the fold wherever possible, no more than like 3 in that top section, and then just shove everything else at the bottom of the site. Because if somebody wants to find out about you, they'll get there. Trust me, they'll find that part of the process. But by lumping too much at the top, we make it unclear as to what we want them to do next. And again, you should control the user experience on your site, not the visitor. Because you're the one that is directing the path. You're the one. Here's the example I like to use. I think Jill and I talked about this one day when we were working on your website. I've not visited many doctors. When I go into the office and I sit down and I say, okay, doctor, here's what I got, here's what I need. Write the script. I'm out. Most doctors I've come across probably would kick me out. They don't like that very much. They would prefer to go through and work out what's going on, diagnose, work out what the symptoms are saying, and then give some solutions. Well, your website's just like that. You are the expert. They're coming to you, guide them to your solution or next step. Don't let them make the decision on their own. That doesn't mean to say you only have one thing on the site. Because again, you still got to get the know, like, and trust going. But it does mean that your primary goal should be to focus them in. Okay, so, and then of course this is about content, this is about a whole bunch of elements on your site, making it something that when people go there, they will be willing to share it, they'll like it, the experience is good, it helps answer some of their questions. The next thing that I think is important there is you've got to optimize your website for search engines. Now this gets into technical stuff that most of you probably don't want to fiddle around with, but it's an important thing because if the search engines see the right stuff on your website, they're more apt to rank you. If they see the wrong stuff on your website, you're going to stay in no man's land. And let's be real, in search today, no man's land starts where? Where does no man's land start?
Bottom of page 1.
Probably on page 1. I mean, about 65 to 70% of all leads and business happen from rankings 1 to 3. So I just help somebody go from 3rd page, so in the 20s, to number 5 yesterday when I checked on Google in about 3 weeks. But guess what? That's probably not going to move the needle in their business a lot still. They need to be 1, 2, or 3 to realistically make some impact on the search numbers that are happening and so on. So that's a really key thing here. So there are lots of things that have to happen technically. I'm not going to talk about them because I don't think anybody really wants to know. Chris might be interested, but probably most everybody else is like, yeah, I'm out and that stuff. But these are the things that got to go on in the background. But here's the one trick I'm going to give you. And I have seen this happen over and over and over again. And if you are employing it, you need to employ it, because sometimes my brain freezes and I forget about it. And then every time I do it, I'm like, oh my goodness, why aren't I recommending this? Whatever keyword you want to be found for, create a page for that keyword. And make sure the URL is exactly that keyword that you want. So I'll give you an example from something I did. I like to do WordPress training for people, and I was doing some digging around, and I noticed that there weren't a lot of local options for WordPress training in Indy. I thought, that's a good idea. So I went and created a page on my website, Neil Richmond Marketing WordPress Training Indianapolis. I thought, oh, that's good. Saved it. Then I got distracted and I went and did something else. I never actually put any words on the page. I just created a page and I forgot about it. I went back like 3 weeks later, and I thought, I wonder if that did anything. And I pulled up the search for that term, and I was on page 2 already without having done anything in terms of putting words on the page. So guess what? I felt a little motivation to actually put words on the page. Now, I think if you search that today, I'm like 1, 2, 3 or something like that, and then I have a number of things that I show up for on that particular search term. So my tip is this. Create a page on your website that has the keywords that you really want to be found for, and put some good content on that page. Doesn't have to be a ton, and just let it be out there, because it will start the search engines doing something, because that URL is one of the highest level things you can do to tell the search engines who you are. If you've got 5, 6 keywords that you want to be found for, create a page for each of them. We'll get into the technical of it, but that is one that I have seen work over and over again. John?
So, just kind of clarification. Not a lot of people know what co-working is, especially in Hendricks County. So, ideally, we wouldn't even use that term.
Yeah.
I think a better term would be office space. But I don't know how to. I mean, would we just create a separate page that's kind of hidden? And by hidden, I mean not
on the menu.
Not on the menu.
Yeah,
right, and then people can click to it.
Strategy for that.
And then you just explain what the co-working is an office space.
Yeah, you could go into that. The first thing I would do is probably just go to Google and type in co-working, see what they suggest as other phrases around that.
Okay.
And then I would add a location to that. So maybe, again, I don't know because I haven't done the research, but maybe shared office space, Hendricks County or Plainfield, something like that. That might be a way to do that. And then I have some extra tools on my computers that tell me how many people are searching for that month. Because if it's 0, I'm not going to mess with it. But depending on the niche you're in, that could be 10. And if there are 10 people who are searching a month for that, that's worth it. But for others, it probably needs to be like 100 or 500 or something like that, depending on the scenario. Once you know all those factors, then as you keep typing in words, Google will suggest more things to you. And then it's a case of looking at those best phrases and going, oh, wow. Because here's one that I worked out years ago. Plumber, Indianapolis versus plumbers, Indianapolis. Search numbers, completely different. I forget which one's which now. But one of them is about 5 times more people searching than the other. So I don't want to optimize my site for the one with less search terms. I want to optimize it for the one with more.
Sure.
So you've got to know all that data. So again, I'm getting deep in the weeds right here. I don't want to get too deep for you.
And you just do that with the analytics. You do that.
Your analytics can tell you that, but your analytics is only telling you about what you've already had.
Okay.
It's using Google as a research tool. There's a site called ubersuggest.io, I believe. Going into my brain recesses. I may be wrong. Ubersuggest.io. You put in your phrase that you're interested in, and it will give you like tons of other ones around it, and probably even what the search numbers are for it.
Okay.
That's where I will start on the research for that. Come up with like 10 to 12 possibilities, and then evaluate each of them separately to see which one's better or worse. It'll be hard to do. But you're right, because if somebody's looking for what level 2 is, and isn't using the exact words you are using,
right,
how can you connect the two so that makes sense? And that's the case for everybody. You know, I think about Lynn's scenario, you know, like as a business consultant, that's about as vanilla as you can get, right? That could be anything. I have clients who are business consultants, but they don't do what Lynn does. So you've got to work out what's in the brain of the person typing the search, not what you do. That's the difference.
So can you tell us like referencing
I think that's one that he has, yes. But there's tons of them like that out there. And I use a Chrome plugin actually that gives me all that data. When I do a regular Google search, it populates it on the page. And I can't remember what that is. If you want to know, I can pull that up. All right, number 7.
doesn't AdWords give you,
Share great content on social media. Right? So if you think about your social media presence, you need to be sharing the good stuff that you've got going on in your world on your website in social media. Here's the change that I would suggest today. It used to be that I would recommend be on every platform, post regularly. I've revised that statement. You're probably wasting your time on a bunch of them. Pick a primary and maybe a secondary and run with it. Really dig deep on it. Work out where the best place for your target audience is, and I would suggest that it's probably one of 3 places. I've yet to come across a local business that has found Twitter to be like their go-to place, so I don't even put that on my list anymore. It's either Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And depending on the business model, it might be Pinterest. But that's probably about it right now. So you're going to pick from those, and you're going to, if you're B2B focused, you can still be on Facebook. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But you're probably best on LinkedIn, sharing content. Because I can't tell you how many times regularly sharing good content on LinkedIn has led to somebody reaching out and say, hey, we need to have a conversation. I like what you're putting out there. I like the philosophy of what you're saying. Here's where I am, sort of thing. And that's how that works. And I would say, although it doesn't quite meet the agenda we're talking about today, finding other people's good stuff to share is still valuable, along with your own. And you know, I have a whole formula for that on my website. But, just for right now. And what I've got up there is look at the variety of different things. You know, longer things to read, video, engagement type posts, ones where people can respond with. You know, this is probably just a regular type post. You know, these light bulb moment type things and images and that sort of stuff. Those are the sorts of things that you want to do. Add variety, add texture to your content. Don't just do the same thing all the time. Mix it up. All right, guest blogging. Any of you done that? Written content for other people's websites? One to look at. Fit your model. If content is a way to reach your audience, to show your expertise, I would look for websites. So I've done it before, and it's driven good traffic to my website. I'll tell you that. I've been invited to write for a couple of other sites right now. I write, but I don't do it because I love it. I do it because I know I have to. And so I'm sort of like, I know I need to do this, but I don't want to put the time and energy into it. But it'll be worth it because you're exposing yourself to a new audience, and in there, you're telling them where to go back to find out more about who you are and what you're all about. And with the right audience, that can be huge. All right, here's one. Promote your content to influencers. Wouldn't you love to find people who have an audience that you would love to have as your own audience, and for them to share your stuff on your behalf? It'd be useful, right? Used to be difficult. I'm going to shortcut you on it today. I'm going to give you an inside scoop here. I would suggest you use this tool here, Q Promote. If you want to do this, use Q Promote. Why? Because Q Promote is basically, and the whole QUUU.co is the main company site. These guys have got it worked out, in my opinion. You pay to give them content for people to share. People come to them to find content. They pay them to find content to share. They've covered both ends of the spectrum here. Great business model, in my mind. So Q Promote is designed for you to create content on your site, and then you go in, you purchase, like they have a package where you'll get shown for 30 days, and then there's a whole lot of details around that. They will push your content out into their sharing network, and then people who are in that network over here can grab the content that they find relevant. So if you're sharing about financial planning, it's going to have to be something that that person sees relevance in. They're going to take that and share it out to their audience, and that gives their audience a chance to connect with you with all of that. Love this, and it's very reasonably priced, and it's a great way to get the word out to people that you wouldn't necessarily reach on your own. And obviously, this is driving people directly to your website. This is not driving them to another social media or anything like that. I share people's stuff every single day. My dirty little secret about marketing is this, that most of what you'll see on my social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, maybe not Instagram so much, is using the other side of this tool, Q. I gather content every day and share it out based on it. Because people have done it for me, so I return the favor with it. And what's really good to keep people engaged with the thought process that I want people to be thinking about. There are other solutions. I just happen to know this one. I happen to know it's good, and it's easy to use and get up there and that sort of thing. All right, number 10, use video to attract your audience. I would suggest, again, taking some of your content you've got, converting it over to a video, or starting a video where you're the face sharing some of your ideas and different things like that on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be super smooth. It doesn't have to be all polished up and beautiful with a beautiful intro and an outro and like, you know, the bottom third and all that sort of stuff. It literally can be, I think it can be you and your phone having a conversation and share. There'll be others out there who will argue differently. But again, when you're talking about just being effective and getting stuff done, that can work really good. Because there is a group out there who will never read a word. They'll watch a video. And alternately, there are people who don't like videos, but they'll read words. So you've got to try to cater for all of that.
So you're saying it may not need to be polished even for the website then?
Yeah, I do agree with that. The enemy of successful marketing is perfection. And look, if you can get a really good job put together quickly, I'm all for that. But if it's going to take you a month to create something, every time you film a 1-minute video, I'd rather see you push it out and get it live than to spend forever trying to dig through it and get it perfect. That's the balance in the world. If it's a homepage, like explain a video or something that's core to the business, I certainly would spend more time getting that set right. But in a blog post, where I'm trying to convey some content and do it fairly expediently, absolutely no go for it. But you can set up a camera, like, you know, most people's phones will work. Some people, with my phone, the Galaxy 9 doohickey here, I got the pen, and the pen actually is a remote for my phone. So I can have that in my pocket. I can set my phone up in a little tripod, that's the word I want, and then click the button on there, and away I go. I don't get any of this funny reaching in front to hit the record button. So there's just little tricks like that. Not everybody's got those tricks, but there are tricks like that out there to get that done. Number 11, play. This is not a short play. But I really like the idea of spending time. There could be audio interviews. I mean, you could literally do a call with somebody and record the call. Obviously, you need to get their permission for this. This is not like a secret call. Hey, I'm going to put this on my website now. And then put that up there, clean it up a little bit, put it up there, and then it's your interview with such and such that you're pushing out there. That name will draw some people in. You could do video interviews. You could turn it into a podcast and do it regularly and push it out on the podcast channels with all of that. The one thing I will suggest that's a really good touch that I think the best interviews do, and that is they transcribe the interview into words underneath as well. So you're hitting the audio, the visual maybe if it's a video, and those who like to just read stuff with all that. There's a solution called rev.com, rev.com, and at rev.com you can submit an audio or a video and they will transcribe it, which doesn't work as well when you're a foreigner, but it's a whole nother topic. Sometimes they get things a little bit funny. And they'll send it back in a Word doc, you can clean it up, and away you go. It's $1 a minute. So it's a pretty effective way. Unless you really want to sit down and transcribe it yourself after you've done it. I'd rather be poked in the eye with a sharp stick than that. So it's not my thing, but there are solutions for these things.